Hey Vikings fans, Tyler here to talk to you about Pick and Shovelware and pickandshovelware.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of fun, different Minnesota sports clothing items and apparel options. We got a deal going with them right now where if you buy whatever you want, enter the promo code Bleeding Purple, all one word, and you will get free shipping. That is promo code Bleeding Purple, pickandshovelware.com. Make sure you go ahead and check it out. Okay, let's start the show. Podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Hay. I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Adam Patrick. Hello, good sir. How are you?
Well, it's good to be back.
It is. Victory!
Be back in the win column. Be back talking on the podcast. It's good. It's good.
Mondays,
good day.
Mondays are better after
yeah.
the Vikings win. I think that is safe to say. So,
could get in a car accident and be like, the Vikings won.
Knock on wood. I don't want to get. I drive around for a living. I don't want to do that. even on a win, don't want to do that. So they win in Philly. Final score. What was the final score? It was 23-21?
23-21. I might not know that, but I haven't really left any comments on any Eagles threads of saying that at all. So I might be mistaken.
You are that kind of troll who would go through it.
No, I would never do that.
Burner account, for sure. For sure, a burner account.
Yeah.
So, Vikings win. Does it feel like, first of all, let's get this out of the way. People say, oh, it's a revenge game. Vikings got revenge. Throw it out. Anybody who tells you that is garbage. That's a garbage take. There's no revenge.
Different teams, different season, different quarterbacks.
Nothing at stake.
Yeah.
Really.
Well.
Yeah, bragging rights, but
it might help later in the season for playoff seedings and stuff.
But not an NFC Championship game. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. No, not a revenge game.
No, not at all.
But still a good win.
A great win. Yeah, I would agree with that completely. Because I think both of us, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have my correct. Well, maybe I do have the right notebook. I think both of us predicted that
they would lose that game.
That they would lose that game. And also to the Rams, who I'm just calling the Rams. I'm
actually,
not saying where they're from.
I think I predicted that they were going to win.
You are a liar. I have it written down, so we'll get to the bottom.
I had them losing to the Rams, but then I had them, because they had the 10 days off, beating the Eagles.
Just so much Teddy Bridgewater stuff written in this notebook, which is incredible to look at. Oh, Lordy. I don't know, man. I can't find it. I don't believe you, though.
I remember.
There's no way that's true.
Yep. I didn't predict them to lose to the Bills, though, but I did.
Yeah, I don't think very many people predicted that.
No, not even Vegas.
Yeah, that was... God, that... Well, all right, so I'm going to stop looking because this is bad podcast stuff. But again, don't believe you. And... I think you're lying. I don't know. All right, whatever. We'll give it to you. So you said you predicted it.
Yep.
I don't know. I think I had them losing. But it is a good win. Do you think that Philly is a playoff team? Do you think that they will be around down the road? Or because they just lost Jay Ajayi, however you say his name. They lost their running back with a torn ACL.
Yep.
You said rumors are Bell from Pittsburgh to Philly. That would be terrifying. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I don't know.
Then they're definitely a player at the end of the season, I think. But right now, as they're constructed, do you think Philly makes noise in the NFC later in the season? Or do you think they are too meh? Or is it too early to tell, I guess?
It's kind of too early, and I think that because of the division they're in, which is pretty horrible, they're going to have a shot at the playoffs no matter
That's
what.
a great point. Their
It
division
could
is
it could maybe even end up being like a 7-9 or 8-8 gets the division in that division, because the Giants, although they look like they play hard, just don't have apparently what it takes to finish. I don't know if they should put Odell Beckham in at quarterback instead of Eli Manning.
They lost on a 63-yard field goal. That was their game, wasn't it? Like, God.
Yeah. You can't get much. Your luck can't get much worse than that. By the way, what are the Panthers 4-1? By the way,
I don't know.
Norv Turner.
If they are, it has nothing to do with Norv.
Matt Khalil.
Norv for
Panthers?
sure is holding that team back. It's just they must be.
I saw them doing some read option plays yesterday, so I'm like,
I know it was everything I predicted about.
What is this guy?
Everything I predicted about that team, I was like, they're going to be garbage because Norv's a dinosaur. His offense looks like great. Like they're doing goofy stuff that nobody else is doing. I'm like, that was like my only hot take all off season. And I repeated it over and over, was that Norv was going to ruin that team. And instead, he's like turned over a new leaf and is like a young, he's like ripping off Sean McVay. It's so stupid.
I mean, they barely beat the Giants, so let's not get too excited about them. They also I believe they beat the Falcons.
Who are all of a sudden awful. 1-4 is their record now? Like, yikes, Amundo.
So,
what do we know? I mean, that kind of leads me into this, like, it's early in the season, obviously, but, like, we don't really know what we're looking at. I thought I knew what Detroit was. They've beaten Green Bay, like, beat the poop out of Green Bay, and beat the poop out of New England. I'm sorry that I said it that way. Like, my bad. That was I have kids. That's how I talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, even the Bears, they're 3-1.
Yeah, man.
Does anyone expect them to be
there
at the top of the NFC North or even be in the playoffs? I mean, people think they're going to be better this year, but I don't know how many are sold on them.
Yeah. And we're doing the same thing again with New England. We're like, are they done? Is this the year? And no, of course it's not. So, like, what do we know about? I mean, is there anything we can be sure of in the NFL right now? I think it's safe to say the Rams are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Chiefs?
I think the Chiefs are pretty good. But, dude, it's the Chiefs. I don't even know if you can say that because the Chiefs have also done the 5-0 and 8.
Yeah, they could be good in the regular season and then flop in the playoffs like they always do.
So, I don't know, man.
But, yeah, when they run in, they're playing Patriots and Chiefs is next Sunday night. So, should be able to find out some stuff next weekend. But the Chiefs look pretty good against the Jaguars.
They do, and the Chiefs are fun to watch. They seem like they're doing it like the right way. They're not getting lucky. They're not like they're kind of dictating to the other team what they're going to do, and they look really good.
Yeah, Mahomes has a cannon.
Oh my God.
And it's accurate, too, unlike some other guy who plays rookie quarterback in Western New York.
Oh, golly. That kid, it's like he's shooting it out of his hand. It's like not like throwing it. It just like pops off. The only guy I can remember that like looked like that when he was throwing was Michael Vick. He used to throw a ball that used to like shoot out of his hand like that. That was
Dante.
Yeah, Dante too. But I don't know, Dante, though, because he would wind up so hard. It like looked like he was putting everything into it.
Throw it to the ceiling.
Yeah, but Michael Vick was like he was strolling down the street and, football, boink. Yeah, and then could throw it 80 yards. But I digress. Let's get back to the Vikings and their win. Diggs, Thielen. Wowzers.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Pretty
I think
good.
Both are on, or at least Thielen is
They're
on
both
like
on pace for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, like historical stuff we're talking about.
Thielen's on pace for like 150 catches.
Yeah, it's encouraging. But
you think he's going to get an extension after the season?
I'd hope so. Do you think he'll hold out? That's the real question. Minnesota boy, done good, and he's like, I'll hold out until you pay me.
Vikings are smart enough to be like, here, we'll just give you money now, and avoid all that.
Talk to Brzezinski. He'll confuse you, and we'll come out on top, and you'll still get paid somehow.
Oh, my
we'll
God.
Put everybody in. It's
How
no big deal.
smart does that Danielle Hunter extension look right now.
It's just every extension they've signed, and go back in 12 months after they sign it, and you're like, wow.
Even the Diggs
Steal. Yeah, all of them. All of them. It's crazy. Brzezinski. Viva la Brzezinski, man. I'm a big fan. Big fan of that dude. Does the offense relying so much on the pass concern you at all? Because like Diggs and Thielen, those are incredible numbers, but should we maybe be more concerned that they're throwing the ball that much and they are racking up that kind of...
Well, I was thinking about this today where like maybe, as Vikings fans, we're just not used to a team relying on the pass so much since the early to mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Like it's been a long time since they've had a team built around the passing game, and maybe this is just their offense.
Just what it looks like?
This is just their offense
we just
now.
Not know? That's a very valid point. We might not be used to it. It might look. Yeah, I think that's a great point.
It's been a while. What you had Adrian Peterson for 10 years. Before that, like a couple of years of Chester Taylor.
Yeah, who was also over 1,000-yard back in the years before they drafted him. At least the 1 year before they drafted him.
Yeah, and they had like Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Bradford. Those weren't like super passing downfield guys.
No, they're not like 50 pass a game guys.
No. But yeah, with Kirk Cousins, they signed him to a big money contract, and maybe Zimmer's just like, all right, we got this guy, so let's use him. Let's take advantage of what he can do. And I think he's had over 300 yards passing in 3 of his first 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty. 2 of them, 2 over 400 yards. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little bit better than the one guy who was playing here last year, who now plays for John Elway.
Keeman? Chase Keeman?
Chase Keatman.
Keeman?
Yep. Chase Keeman. We're off.
He has 5. Got 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I think he has like 300 yards less than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, not good.
63% like completion percentage. And Cousins has he's thrown 70% completion percentage, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a couple fumbles. Is the lateral, is that being considered Cousins' fault? Because I don't.
That's a great question, because I don't know.
Is it both? Is it Rock Thomas?
You would think that the play was designed to not be a lateral for that because unless they were playing a double pass, they weren't. He's getting the ball and he's going, so I would assume that the idea was for it to not be a lateral, and he maybe
Rock Thomas overran.
Yeah, bounced out too deep, perhaps. I don't know, but either way, while Cousins was rushed. I think at the end of the day, any issue that you can come up with for Kirk Cousins' play could be directly attributed to the performance of his offensive line.
Although
that throw is bad because it's a screen, so they're probably letting him go. But I think there's too much pressure, and then the fumbles too. Those fumbles don't happen if he is protected. I don't know. I'm not trying to be an apologist here, but
the offensive line looked not only looked better, they did play better yesterday than they have. They didn't allow 30 pressures like they have in the previous 2 games.
It was still a ton, though. It was still.
I think I just looked at it. It was 19.
Yeah, which is better.
I think it's around what they allowed against the Packers.
Yes, and that's the thing about, and we've said it week after week after week. They don't have to be great. They just have to be good enough to allow their offense to move the ball.
Yeah, they can't. They can't have games like against the Bills and the Rams where just Cousins has no time.
Exactly.
He's making some big boy throws.
Cousins has been
hanging in there, getting pounded,
and putting it right on the money, and throwing into space and letting his really good receivers
I haven't really,
get it.
maybe not since the first game, I haven't really seen a throw from him where I'm like, oh, what are you thinking?
Yeah. No old bleep throws. You're totally right. And Keenum's got 3 every game. That poor guy. It's not his fault. It's just, it's a sickness.
There's been times where I'm like, get rid of the ball, stop holding on to it.
Yeah.
And I think they fixed some of that over their extra rest or whatever, because it looked like DeFilippo had Cousins getting the ball out quicker.
Yes.
At least he was calling some wide receiver screens and some somewhat What do you call those things behind
The bubble screen?
Jet sweeps.
Good call. Jet sweep. Yeah. And it's basically everything that we were politely requesting. So obviously they're listening again.
I guess.
They fixed. We were asking for more screens. We were asking for snap count stuff. They did both of those things. Jet sweep, stuff to keep the defense off balance. They did it.
All right. Well, if they're listening for next week, if Trey Waynes is healthy, can we put Mike Hughes in the slot?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mackenzie Alexander.
Also, can we maybe not have Sendeo on the field? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's a liability. I think
out there. Give him a shot.
Let's talk about Sendeo a little bit and the penalties a little bit. Before we get into whether or not Sendeo should be not on the field.
Somebody wrote about that. Some guy.
Well, yeah, some guy. I was like, who wrote that? I don't know. Who wrote that? Before we talk about that, let's talk about the Bennett hit / roughing the passer penalty. First of all, do you think it was a good call? Let's just start there.
Was it a good call? It could have gone either way, I feel like. But I don't think you can be surprised that they called it.
I can't imagine a scenario where
it's actually better, like, it's easier to understand that they called that than some of the roughing the passers that they were calling.
100%.
So, I think I saw some interviews with, like, Eagles players after the game. They're like, I don't know what he's supposed to do. And it's like, well, he hit him below the knee. So that's what happened. And they're like, I saw some ref or whatever, who used to be a ref, were saying, like, the hit started high, and then, as he was falling to the ground, he grabbed his ankles. And I'm like, no. No, it didn't. He hit him at the knee level, and thanks to Tom Brady, you're not supposed to do that.
Yes, and that's the thing. I can have the debate on whether or not the rule is stupid.
Yeah,
you can have that debate. I will talk to you about that, because it might be a dumb rule. Is it ruining football? I don't know if it's ruining football, but as the rules are, and we all know what these stupid rules are, if you think they're stupid, that has to be a penalty. You knew it was a penalty. Everybody knew it was a penalty. Do I agree that it should be a penalty? No, I don't. Personally, I don't like that call. I wish it wasn't.
The NFL wants to keep their best players on the field. God, what's wrong with them?
Shame on them. And it's, I don't know. It frustrates me so much that the same people complaining about, like, these calls ruining football are the same people who are complaining about the catch rule last year, who are now upset that the Eagle running back catches the ball in the end zone, ball pops out because he doesn't survive the ground. Well, that's not the rule anymore. Like, it just seems you can't have it both ways, and you can't.
I think if that play was outside of the end zone, it might have not been a catch. But because it was in the end zone, like, for some reason,
all he needs to do is possess the ball in the end zone
for like
it's touchdown.
A millisecond, and then it's a touchdown. That argument of the, like, football is getting too soft or whatever is what I've seen a lot of people say today about the Sendeo hit, and they're like, it wasn't a defense. It's a stupid defenseless receiver rule and stuff like that. I'm like, he didn't have to do that. He clearly, his helmet hit Zach Ertz's helmet to helmet. They're going to call that every time, even if it was unintentional or not. They're going to call that.
Yes.
So
I think you nailed it. I think that's it. That's the thing that bothers me, is that there's this, like, shock from people that are like, God, that's a penalty? It's like, well, of course it's a penalty. Wrap the guy's knees up, and that's a $98 million quarterback. Of course that's a penalty. Of course it is. God dang it. It makes me crazy. Look at what you're doing. If that was Tom Brady, would it be a penalty? They have to rule it the same for everybody. That's what I'm saying. So, of course it's a penalty, man.
I've loved Clay Matthews complaining about, hits on a quarterback. And I'm like, really?
Oh, see,
like,
and that...
Your quarterback has gotten so many calls.
He's the reason these rules exist now, is because of your quarterback.
Yeah.
And not only that, it makes Clay Matthews sound dumber for not being able to wrap his brain around why they're making it a rule, and that he has to change the way he plays or he's going to get penalties and fines.
Hey,
like,
dude,
you're an
look
idiot.
across the locker room.
Yeah, it's.
I did enjoy. I think it was Call of Duty, who had like a commercial yesterday, and for some reason they have like NFL players' faces on some of their people, and they kept throwing a flag on. And Clay Matthews, he was one of the faces, and they're like, roughing the water, roughing the sand, roughing the dirt. And he's like, "Oh, come on,
give me a break."
Yeah. So,
Clay Matthews, I don't get
it. You can have fun with it, but I think some of those calls that were being called on him and other players, they've clearly let up on those because the national media and players and all that stuff were just that's all they could talk about for the first week or two.
Well,
so
there were several plays this weekend or Sunday, I should say, that showed me that the rule did exactly what it was supposed to do. There was one play with Barr where he. Had these rules not been there, he would have hopped on the top of the pile and like put a lick on the dude who had just gotten tackled, and he totally bailed on it because he knew I maybe shouldn't do that. There might be a penalty. And that's all the NFL wanted was for that thought to be in those guys' heads when they're going to destroy someone. Mm-hmm. Rule works, man. Everything, like, it's all there. Mm-hmm. Don't be mad. Be mad at the rule if you want, but it's doing exactly what the NFL is looking for it to do. They're just looking to get rid of the unnecessary stuff.
Yes. Like stuff that goes overboard. Like
the extra lick. The
guy's
the ground
down.
After. Yeah, man. Yeah.
He's going down. Just touch it. Just all you have to do is touch it. You just gotta knock him out.
Here's the other thing too that I think there's like an underlying the culture, the like football dude bro culture is like you put an extra lick on him. This is girl stuff because they can't. What do you mean that's intent? What? Like that mindset is, I think, being like challenged here, and for a lot of people, that's maybe a huge part of what they like about football. But
it's still there. There's still big hits.
Yes, there are.
They're just gonna get flagged.
Well, and big hits without flags too. Like Harrison Smith had one against Alshon Jeffrey where he broke up the play and he put that's football. It's still there.
Shoulder.
It's still there.
Shoulder. Yeah, Harrison Smith's really good at just tackling the right way.
I don't know. There's just something. It's like we're losing the like barbaric, like kind of UFC like unconscious dude on the field stuff. Like that doesn't bug me at all. I don't know. Call me a sissy if you want, but like I just don't. That kind of injury and that kind of hit just like doesn't do anything for me.
Are you gonna if your son wants to play football, how early would you let him play? I have my answer because I have a child on the way. I've already decided his fate.
What is it? What's yours? You go first.
There's no reason for him to play tackle football until high school.
Until high school?
He can play flag football and work on like juking and
things
stuff.
That you would do,
catching, throwing. What's the point? Why do you need to get tackled and get your head, knocked into the ground when you're 10 years old?
That's the only thing. The only answer that I think people will give in like response to that is because it toughens them up, and it doesn't. No. It doesn't toughen them up.
I went to a Pop Warner game when I was in upstate New York last week because my nieces are cheerleaders or whatever, and I was watching. These kids were like getting like knocked out on the ground. They're like 8 or 10 years old, and I asked like my sisters-in-law, do they have like a trainer or anyone to like look at these kids? And
just parents.
Like, no. I'm like, oh, good,
fine. What if somebody breaks their leg? We call an ambulance.
And I remember a kid like lying on the ground, like grabbing his head, and the coach being like, "It's okay, you're all right, get up."
Just got his bell wrong. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's very real. Head injuries are very real. I think you're right that I don't know, man. I'll have to see, because here's the way. If I was in 6th grade and I had an opportunity to play tackle football, and my parents were like, "No, you can't," that would have destroyed me at that age. That would have bummed me out so bad. Well, I swear. Yeah, it really would have. So I will have to like weigh that against like the dangers against the like other options.
You being in 6th grade like 20 years ago or whatever.
Very different.
More than 20 years ago.
Bro, why you gotta hate?
Hey, it's the same thing for me.
Come on.
I like with that.
That's a low blow.
But like there probably wasn't as much like other outlets to play football
Yeah,
as
there
are
weren't.
today.
Very true. Very
Like,
true. And
there's way
also, we
more.
didn't know as much too. So that was the same thing where it was like, oh, we don't, you'd get like, Coach, I can barely stand up, and like, oh, did you see the big flashlight? Yeah. Like, all right, sit out for one play.
Yeah.
And then you'd go back in. That dude, the concussion stories or concussion, that was not what it was. The stories I could tell you about playing high school football on a really, really, really bad football team in a really, really, really good conference. Just
get your ass kicked every
every week. It was so bad. Yeah, and I mean, like, one time the lines on the field were curving. Like, I just saw them, like, they would go straight for a little bit and then, like, kind of off of, like, a...
Play against, like, Marcus Sherrills and stuff?
No, not Marcus Sherrills. Matt Spaeth was one of them. Played against him. He was a tight end in Pittsburgh for a stretch. Johnny Carlson, who was in Seattle, tight end, played against him in that same conference.
The Vikings signed him to that
they
big
did.
deal.
I know, and then he never
and he did
nothing. But he's a really nice guy, John Carlson.
I'm sure. As he's pounding you into the ground.
Yeah, no, that was, and I had to be like he would try and tackle me, and I'd like help him up, like Andrew Luck style, and be like, "That's a great hustle, like good effort," and smack him on the butt. So hopefully he wouldn't like destroy me the next time. Maybe he would like think, "Oh, he's kind of a nice guy. Maybe I don't want to kill him." Yeah. Who else? I think that might be it for NFL players in the small town conference I came from. There were a couple of other guys that got to like NFL camps and stuff, but never made rosters. But yeah, so that's, I mean, no big deal, but that's where I was. But yeah, got my head, hit a lot. I have some terrifying like stories. So even then, even in high school, you're still, I don't know, getting destroyed.
I think the best athlete to come out of my small high school and where I went to high school in like New Hartford, New York, was Andy Van Slyke, played for the Pirates.
No, oh, okay.
Remember him?
I feel like I do. I feel like that name sounds so familiar. I was thinking football. I was like, I got nothing.
It was like a 90s guy.
I don't know if I remember him.
90s baseball knowledge.
You can't go wrong there, though.
We have gone off the rails.
Way off the rails. See, okay, here we go.
Talk about Sendejo.
Talked about Sendejo. I want to talk hot seat. I don't think Mike Zimmer's on the hot seat anymore, because he definitely was for that week. I know you love that. So, okay, maybe Mike Zimmer was never really on the hot seat.
More wins in 4 years than any Vikings coach in team history. Do not tell me
his defense was not looking so hot.
Hot seat should not even be in the vocabulary to describe Mike Zimmer.
What about Mike Preifer, though? Special teams have been super shaky. Field goal kickers have been bad the whole time Mike Zimmer's been here.
Yeah.
We've discussed it a little bit. Like, what does Mike Preifer do that allows him to have this equity where all of his special teams can be garbage for years, and that's okay, he doesn't lose his job? Should we be looking at him and wondering if he should be fired, Adam?
I mean, I think it's fair. I wanted to talk about this because one of my writers at the Viking Age, new writers, Brittany Hemmer, she wrote about this. She thought of it, and I was like, oh, that's a good topic. I never, really thought about that. And then Jerome, when we posted it on Twitter or whatever, Jerome Felton responded and was like, no, he's like one of the best coaches,
up.
in the NFL. And I'm like, oh, so it's tenure that's why this guy's still in here.
Yeah.
But, I think he might have benefited off of guys like Cordero Patterson and Mark Sherrills and Blair Walsh having one good season.
I mean, just the kicker alone.
Even coverage this year, like that block punt. There's been they've allowed some long returns the past couple of years.
Wasn't there a fake punt that happened at one point? That was either, I don't know.
I can't remember, but the last time the Vikings returned had like a return touchdown was in 2016. So,
that's a long time ago. But you know what stat they flash every time they punt? Marcus Sherrills, most punt return touchdowns in the NFL. So it's, I get that you can, but I get that you can make a case for him. Like, well, he's this is good, that's good, this good. But look at his field goal kickers have been garbage the whole time.
Well,
you can't blame him. But a bad quarterback is the head coach's fault, but the bad kicker is not the
like technique. Can you blame the technique that he's teaching on him?
Well, I don't know if that's the problem, but if these guys come in, Dan Bailey missed 2 yesterday. Dan Bailey doesn't miss ever, and he's missing.
Yeah, I don't know how much. That probably had nothing to do with Preifer, but yeah, you look at the young guys like Daniel Carlson and
Blair Walsh turned into a disaster.
And
but
then Jeff Locke, he was. I don't know how much that was.
And the best guy they had, the shining star of the special teams, Quigley, gets booted out the door.
Bad preseason, you're out of here.
Yeah, no touchbacks all season, NFL record setting, no big deal. But later, Quigley.
Oh, I wanted to let you know I was looking at was it Pro Football Focus? I know how much we love them, but they graded the Vikings punter. I didn't check the updated rankings or whatever this week, but he's the 4th best through 4 weeks in the NFL.
Get out of here with that.
Because of his, because of his hang time. It's like 5 seconds.
Hang time helps, but
it does.
He's no Quigley, man. There are so many things that you can point at that have been issues on this team that we all are just kind of. Any other position, we would be calling for the coach's head, you know?
Well, yeah.
We were talking about Mike Zimmer being on the hot seat 2 weeks because his defense had 2 bad. Some of us were. All right. But you get my point. Why aren't we taking the same? I think Preifer needs to be held accountable.
It's an argument that can be made. I would think that the special teams is probably the worst unit of the Vikings this year so far. And usually it's one of their best.
It's close, yeah.
Usually it's one of their best. Even, you got guys like Mike Hughes, who should be, getting some good returns. He's had a couple decent ones. And they've had Thielen back there a couple times.
Yeah, man. See, that's what
is that because they don't want Hughes to get scared and muff the football in an important situation? If you don't want that, then why would you put him back there at all?
Exactly. And it feels like they whether they want to do it or are doing it on purpose or not, I don't know, but it feels like the coaching staff overreacts to something that happens on the field and they never get back to what is normal. It's Mike Hughes almost muffed that one punt one time on a short kick, and now Adam Thielen just stands next to him to make sure he's doing everything right.
It's kind of that's how I feel like they've been doing with running the ball this year. If they don't get a good amount of yards on a drive, then they just don't run for a while.
And they're over it.
And they run play action, and it's fake them out. Do
you think that that's an issue for this team, the lack of a rushing game? Obviously the being dead last in rushing in the NFL hurts, but do you think that you can? Well, here's Mike.
If they want to go far in the playoffs,
Mike Leach had a great point.
Yeah.
Did you see that video?
His team had. Well, I saw he won a game where his team had 400 yards passing and zero
rushing yards, and they asked him about balance, and he said, "Well, I don't understand why you need to hand the ball off to one guy when you could throw it to a bunch of different guys and have more balance that way." So he's if we're getting the running back involved, but we just happen to be throwing him the ball instead of handing him the ball, where's the issue? And it blew my mind, Adam. It blew my mind.
Well, yeah, it's also offenses evolving and stuff. Not yesterday, I saw so many teams who had goal line on the 1 yard line up in shotgun.
Yeah.
You're on the 1 yard line.
All over the NFL it was happening.
The 49ers put out 5 receivers. They scored a touchdown, but we're lining up in shotgun on the goal line now? You're 1 yard away.
Things is changing, man. Sean McVay. Stuff is getting crazy right now.
I think the Vikings did that yesterday.
Turner is doing weird, goofy motion plays.
The Vikings did that yesterday. They were on the goal line, and they threw 2 passes. One pass I understand, but just get Linval Joseph in there or something and run behind him.
Dude, that's totally it. Do the refrigerator Perry move. Just get a huge guy back there, battering.
Really? Guy. Who's going to tackle him?
Nobody.
Nobody could tackle him yesterday when he had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand the idea of getting the ball out quickly, and you got to have guys that, whatever. I just don't. when there's that much space, when you got a 6 foot tall quarterback. If he could fall forward, that's 2 yards. If you can't get 2 yards from your quarterback falling forward in like a take the snap and just fall
nine
forward,
guys in front of him.
for real. If you can't do that, like, come on. I mean, you have to be able to do that, don't you? It also, I don't know.
It's like shotgun, doesn't that puts you like behind line? You line up like on the 3 or 4 yard line. That puts you behind.
Yeah, didn't you just turn a 1st and goal from the 1 yard line to a 1st and goal from the 6 yard line because you're 5 yards back to catch the snap in shotgun?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a coach, Adam. I'm not a coach, but I don't understand why they're doing it and why they're doing it so often. Sean McVay has destroyed the league.
Yeah.
Norv Turner is doing weird stuff. Hell is freezing over. Ryan Fitzpatrick was like the best quarterback in the league for a second.
I think DeFilippo called a good game yesterday.
I think he did. I agree with that.
I don't know how much of it helped that, he knew the Eagles' defense.
Yeah.
That probably helped a little bit knowing, how to go against them since he did in
a couple
practice.
of years practicing against them will help you there for sure. And I mean, to be honest with you, they looked okay. They can move the ball in between the 20s. They are great. But when it's time to, red zone and, the field shortens, they don't look very smooth.
Yeah, Kyle Rudolph, 6'6". Laquan Treadwell, even, he can box somebody out in there. That was a nice fade to Thielen. I'm not going to lie about that.
It's one of the best throws you'll ever see.
I think we've said that, once a week about Cousins, so it's pretty good.
No, it definitely works, and maybe you're right, man. Maybe I'm just confused by this new passing offense thing. My eyes aren't used to it, and so I'm assuming that they're throwing more than they should, and this balance thing is more important than we're giving. I don't know. Maybe I'm
trying to think after Edgerrin James, who was when the Colts had those great offenses. Who was their running back? They never had an amazing running back. It was always Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, and Reggie Wayne. That's kind of what I feel like the Vikings have now, and they just have their own version of that.
Yeah, man. I would like that to be the case. I think Kirk Cousins as Peyton Manning is maybe a little bit of a stretch casting-wise.
He's getting the role, but he's got to...
Yeah.
He's also... This is his first year in the offense, first year with the team, first year with a team that he actually has... legit weapons.
Yes, legit weapons, and has been told that he is the dude,
Yeah.
Which does a lot for guys. I think people underestimate how much that can affect the play of somebody. Fitzpatrick is a great example. They tell him he's the guy, garbage. He comes in as a backup, he's gold. He's amazing. Because it doesn't matter. There's no pressure on you then, but they tell you you're the starter, and now it's oh, God.
I can't wait for the Vikings to sign him as backup next year.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. That beard is just a majestic.
And then Cousins is going to get hurt, and Fitzpatrick will go in and have a career year.
No, because then what will happen is the Vikings will trade Cousins, give Fitzpatrick a bunch of money, and then Fitzpatrick will be garbage. And I just don't want to talk about that on the podcast. What else should we talk about? We talked about Preifer. So do you think... Oh, running back. Dalvin Cook. Hamstring. You say sit him. Until he's healthy, I think that's the only thing you can do, right?
Would you rather have him now and then get hurt later, or would you rather have him later in the season and possibly the playoffs?
Totally. Do you want 75% Dalvin Cook all season, or do you want 100% of Dalvin Cook for...
Yeah. Clearly, the offense doesn't revolve around him. So, him missing a couple games, especially this next stretch where, they might not, need him as much as they would against maybe some divisional games and, games coming up later in the season against the Patriots on the road and the Seahawks on the road.
Yeah, that's a great point, because what's he going to do? Make it go from 46 rushing yards to 62 rushing yards? Big deal. Yeah,
I think he has 98. I don't think any Vikings running back has over 100.
No, it's brutal.
Which is crazy coming from an era with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, where 100 was basically the benchmark.
That was his first half total in his first game.
Adrian Peterson, oh my God.
Playing tonight.
Do you think the Vikings are back on track? Do you think the defense looks good enough? Can we Are we penciling them in for the playoffs again? I had it erased.
I think so. I think that Rams team was just a big overreaction. Just
the Bills.
No, I think the Rams. The Rams.
Whoa. No.
Because everyone was like, oh, their defense is horrible. It's not what it used to be.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
When it really was, they're still very good against teams on third down. The costly penalties is what's bit them in the butt.
Totally. And
not preparing for the Bills apparently.
Rams are very good as well.
And it was a short week. It was on the road. It was on the West Coast. There's so many factors that went into that Rams game, and I think people forget, and they just look at it black and white when it's not that at all.
Yeah. Well, and I felt bad because in the Rams game, that wasn't Barr's fault. Barr didn't play that poorly. He just happened to be the dude that was chasing the ball into the end zone every time it happened. I don't know. I thought that was an overreation too.
And that's what McVay. That's applause to McVay for getting those matchups.
For shizzle.
I think the Vikings,
man. They're good.
They did well against Todd Gurley. I don't think he ran over 100 yards, but Jared Goff just slice and dice him. I would be curious to see those two teams play again in Minnesota. I think it would be a very different game if each team had a week to prepare. I think it would be closer. I don't know if the Vikings would be able to win because the Rams are good.
They are. They're a very good team. And people were freaking out about the defense being terrible, but there were a couple of different touchdown catches from the Rams where
the Rams allowed 31 points. Did everyone forget the Rams allowed 31 points to the Vikings? Their defense is supposed to be amazing. They just gave up like 31 to the Seahawks too. So
They almost lost that game to the Seahawks. Went for it on fourth down. I mean, I think they're in good shape. The division is helping. I'm not going to lie there. Do you think the Bears are anything to... I don't think they're, at the end of the season, they're going to be there. Do you?
They have to... Their people on their defense have to stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Trubisky's not carrying that team to the playoffs.
Absolutely not.
I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the playoffs, but I could see them squeaking in as a wild card too, and maybe like upsetting someone in the first round. But Khalil Mack is the only reason why they're 3-1.
Yeah, and things would have to go so perfectly for them to stay playing at this.
Yeah, and they still have to play the Vikings twice. I think they still have to play the Packers one more time, the Lions twice.
Yeah,
I think they have to play the Patriots. So
they got some. There's a lot of season left.
Yeah, especially you get down in the late part of the season.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Cardinals. It's who the Vikings are playing.
Oof.
They're not very good. Bradford is already donezo in favor of Rosen.
The guy who's starting over him went 10 for 25 yesterday. So,
woo.
He did throw for a touchdown or two. But
I don't like saying this is a win anymore because of the Buffalo Bills game. But
we should say it should be a win.
Mm-hmm. The Vikings look like they're better than this team all over. They're just all over better than Arizona. So they should take care of business. This is at home as well, correct?
Yes. I think the Cardinals have like the worst passing offense and like the second to worst rushing offense, second to the Vikings.
Awesome.
I think, but they have, and it's weird because they have David Johnson, but I think he's averaging, his yards per carry is actually lower than Dalvin Cook's. So
that's impressive.
That offense is, I'm not worried about it, but I feel like they're capable. They still have David Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, dude, I need a big day from Larry Fitzgerald for my fantasy team, so if he could get a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah. The rookie Christian Kirk, he looks pretty good. He had a 75-yard touchdown catch yesterday. They have some capable, weapons. I think the Vikings can, since they're going against a rookie quarterback. Zimmer does good against rookie quarterbacks.
Yes, he does.
Everyone's like, oh, Josh Allen ripped him apart. Nah, really. look at his whole stats for the whole game. Not that great.
Yeah, not that great. And he also, I think we have a different memory than most because we all witnessed him like leaping over humans and like he played very well. I don't think that was like him.
That was
turning up
running the ball.
Vikings defense.
That wasn't throwing them. He didn't have any like amazing throws.
No, he didn't, and that's what I'm saying. Is I think
Josh Rosen,
he was so good. It's like, he just jumped over a guy.
And Josh Rosen's not going to do that.
No,
he can't run like that.
No,
and the Cardinals defense is not as bad as I think their numbers. They haven't been good against the run this year, but their pass defense is okay. They have Patrick Peterson and Chandler Jones. I think he has 4 sacks this year, so he'll be a handful for the Vikings offensive line to handle.
Speaking of offensive line, is O'Neal like he's in starting now? Are we? Because he was playing for the majority of the game Sunday.
Well, I think it depends on if Riley Reef plays. If Reef can't play, then I think they're going to shift Rashad Hill over to left and O'Neal on the right, which wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't the worst thing ever.
I think having Elflein back is starting to help a lot more.
For sure. I would agree with that.
It's definitely making things easier, I think, for Mike Remmers, who I think he had a lot on his plate before Elflein got in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a game they should win. The Cardinals have lost to some really good teams. They've lost to the Rams. They lost to the Seahawks. Not really good, I guess, the Seahawks. They barely lost to the Bears. That's why I'm like, the Bears.
Yeah.
But their one road game this year, they haven't scored any points. So they're going on the road this week, see if they can score some points.
Who do the Vikings have the week after that? Is this another trap game?
Jets.
Does this feel like
Jets is not? It's not. I think it's Cardinals home at Jets, then it's home for the Saints and home for the Lions. I believe.
Okay. I can work with that. Yeah,
So
probably not a trap game. They have to.
They have a good opportunity to win off. They could win all 4 of those games
For sure. That would help a lot. I think would help the fans chill out a lot, and I think would help maybe the press / coaching staff chill out.
If you're able to sit Dalvin Cook out for 2-3 more games and still play that well, I think that's good too.
That would help a lot. At what point? I know it's still early, but at what point do we deem Dalvin Cook injury prone? Because I remember that he was pretty good, but that was a long time ago.
I don't think it's fair this year because I think his hamstring injury has to do with his torn ACL.
For sure. I was just going to say that. You took my take, bro.
Those soft tissue injuries that we're used to from Stephon Diggs.
Listen to you, WebMD over here. Guy, get it, man.
Hey, he's doing Pilates this year, so he's working on that.
Maybe Dalvin Cook is Dalvin Cook doing Pilates or Stephon Diggs?
I don't think so. Stephon Diggs is.
Maybe that's Dalvin Cook's problem.
Diggs can afford
Pilates, bro.
Diggs can afford it now too, though. So
yeah, good call.
I don't know how much Pilates costs, but I think Dalvin Cook can probably afford it.
That was a very judgy way to say Pilates.
Pilates. But you can probably go to like 24-hour fitness or something.
They had kombucha faucets at the Eden Prairie facility. Yeah. They have a Pilates center at the new one. I'm positive of it. Positive. It's probably right next to the hot.
That was just studio. that was just for Michael Floyd, but
but well done, sir. Well done. So, do you want to do predictions for the Cardinals game?
Yeah. I think they're going to win.
Okay.
I think they're going to win. They're going to win. Mike Zimmer's going to be like, not again. We're not doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, like, he did to, like, let those guys, have an easy practice or something during the Bills week, that's not going to happen this week.
Nope.
It's going to be strictly business.
Real quick, do you think, because there was a fair amount being made of Zimmer saying that he, like, overcoached dudes, do you think that maybe he, like, calmed down on, like, the schemes and, like, took a little bit away from the younger players, or do you think they just figured it out?
No. Because people keep saying, like, maybe he should turn the play calling over George Edwards, and I'm like,
No, thank you.
He's been doing fine the past couple of years.
Guy's head would explode if he wasn't calling the plays.
Also,
are you kidding me? He would go.
Speaking of people that should be on the hot seat, why isn't George Edwards' name not been brought up if people are so angry with the defense? I understand that
Mike Zimmer's defense, man.
Calls the plays, but why do you have a defensive coordinator then if he's not going to do anything? I mean, he's got to get those guys ready too. I mean, he's not just sitting there holding the practice dummy every day.
I'll answer your question with a question. Why isn't Preifer on the hot seat?
I never said he was.
No, it's a fair point though. Why isn't? I guess.
Why does he get a pay?
Is this the only time that we've been fair ever, where like he's not going to get credit for the defense being good, but he's also not going to get blamed when they're bad? That feels like a fair deal. Here's the thing: in the NFL, never happens.
He do? Like no one knows what exactly his role is.
I don't know.
Like because everyone's like, oh, they should have George Edwards call the defense. Like he did that for one game and they lost. So
is he that good? I don't know.
Yeah.
What does he do? What is his thing? There are a lot of question marks on this football team, Adam. What does the special teams
But it's just a lot of this
do?
Stuff, these hot takes that people throw out and have nothing to back them up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know either, but I'm not throwing out that many hot takes.
There's like a bunch of random like Zimmer's lost the team.
Yeah,
fire Zimmer, fire Spielman.
I don't think that's the case. Also, the fire Spielman thing, I just can't really get behind.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's all so confusing to me. All right, prediction, Adam.
I'll go 28-18. Just like a nice defensive game, kind of like we saw last week. Get some turnovers on the rookie quarterback. Just take care of business.
I'm going to say 31-14, and I think the Vikings are going to score early, and it's never a game, and the 14 points that Arizona scores will be garbage time points.
I hope so. Hopefully it's Sam Bradford throwing those touchdowns.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Could you imagine? Standing ovation. Do you think the fans would give him a skull clap? Or do you think that not for Sam Bradford? Something to consider. He was there for it.
He's
got a statue
horrible.
outside of Norman.
He was a number one draft pick.
He's been paid so much money to do what he does.
He should be arrested for robbery.
He should be arrested. That's the hot take that I think we should end on.
Yep.
Sam Bradford should be arrested for taking money from.
That should be the title of the podcast.
It is.
Okay.
This episode, anyways. We can't.
Okay.
I'm paying for the website, for the Bleeding Purple things that has.
Well,
But the
you know what
episode All right, Skull. But see you after the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, also, real quick.
Oh.
Fans of podcast, listeners to podcast, we are doing the live stream stuff after the game. Go to our YouTube channel. You can watch it live. Or if you don't want to do that, you can also get it on, wherever you get your podcast stuff, because it's on the bleedingpurplepodcast.com and on iTunes.
That's bleedingpurplepodcast.com, bleedingpurplepodcast.com.
That's right. No, that was fun. All right, Skull, bud. See you next week.
Go.